it's Miss Jamie. I'm so happy to see you today for a new lesson all about art. Let's start by singing Pat, Pat, Pat with our music teacher, Miss Nancy. Here she is.
This is Pat, Pat, Pat from Wonderful You. Pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Now tickle, 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 just like that. Tickle, 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 and we'll pat, pat, pat again. Pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Now squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, 'cause that feels neat. Squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, squeeze your feet, and now we'll pat, pat, pat again. Pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that. Now fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your fingers in your fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your fingers in your fingers in your hair, and now we'll pat, 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 just like that. Pat, 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 just like that.
Thank you, Miss Nancy. Should we wake up Betsy Blackbird? Call her for me. 1, 2, 3. Say, Betsy, where are you? I think she's back there. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. How are you? Hello, Betsy. How are you? Hello, Miss Jamie. How are you? We're so glad to see you. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. Here, here. We're all here. We're all here together. Yay! And Betsy, we're going to learn about another artist today. Yesterday, we learned about Picasso. Did you say Picasso? You remembered. And Picasso liked to use lots of shapes to make his art. Today, we're going to talk about a new artist. Betsy, sit down over here so that I can show the friends the artist we're going to learn about today. Today's artist is a Dutch artist. That means he's from Europe, from the Netherlands, and his name is Piet Mondrian. Can you say Mondrian? We'll call him Mondrian. His first name is Piet, and his last name is Mondrian. I'm going to show you 3 paintings by Piet Mondrian. I'll show you one of his early paintings when he was just starting to be an artist, and then one in the middle when he was an artist, and then I'll show you an example of what he's famous for, a painting that looks like this. Would you like to see Mondrian's art? Here's one of his early paintings. It's called A Windmill in the Sunshine. Do you see the windmill, the red windmill in the sunshine? What colors do you see on this piece of art? Can you tell me what colors you see? You see Red? Yes, I see red too. What other colors do you see? Yellow? You see some yellow? Yes, I see that yellow sunshine. And do you see any other colors? Blue? Yes, there's a little bit of blue too. Those are the colors I see as well. That's one of Mondrian's early artworks. Here's one in the middle. Do you see this one? Do you think this piece of artwork looks a little bit like Picasso? Like the shapes that Picasso put together for his abstract art? Mondrian and Picasso both created abstract art. So they look a little bit similar. Does your brain say, that reminds me of the shapes that Picasso made? And here's what Mondrian is famous for today. Artwork that looks like this. What colors do you see in Mondrian's art? Do you see red? Yes, I hear you, red. What other colors do you see? Yellow, yep. And do you see any other colors? Black and white, good. And right here, do you see a little bit of blue? Mondrian loved to paint with those primary colors. Let me show you one of his famous artworks. It's this one. It's called Lines of Red and Yellow. It has lines. These up and down lines are called vertical. Can you make your hand like a vertical line? Yes, there are vertical lines. And there are lines that go side to side. Horizontal. Can you say horizontal? Yes, and look at all of those lines. And inside some of the rectangles and the squares, Mondrian painted red and blue and yellow. This, if you ever see art that looks like this with black and white lines and some squares that are red and yellow and blue, you can say, oh, I know who made that art. It was Mondrian. Yes, you'll be so smart. The grown-ups will be so impressed. Red and yellow and blue are important colors. They have a special name. Can you say the colors for me? Say red, good. Say yellow and blue. Red and yellow and blue are the primary colors. Can you say that? Say primary colors. I'm going to tell you a little story about the primary colors based on this book called Mouse Paint by Ellen Stoll Walsh. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there were 3 white mice. 1, 2, 3. They often played on white felt because the cat couldn't see them there. But one day they ventured off of their white and found 3 cans of paint. A can of red paint, a can of yellow paint, and a can of blue paint. The first mouse jumped into the red paint. Say, cowabunga, woo! And when he came out, he was red. The second mouse decided to jump into the can of yellow paint. Cowabunga! And when he came out, he was yellow. The third mouse decided to jump into the can of blue paint. Ready? Cowabunga! And when she came out, she was blue. Now the mice were not white anymore. They were the primary colors, red and yellow and blue. The red mouse looked at the yellow mouse and said, I wish I were yellow like you. And then the mouse had an idea and decided to jump into the yellow can of paint. The red mouse is going to jump into the yellow can of paint. Should we say cowabunga? And when he came out, he was orange. Red mixed with yellow made orange. Now the yellow mouse looked at the blue mouse and said, I wish I were blue like you. And then the mouse had an idea and decided to jump into the blue can of paint. What's going to happen if the yellow mouse jumps into the blue can of paint? Should we find out? Cowabunga! And he mixed around, and when he came out, he was green. Yellow mixed with blue made green. Now the blue mouse looked at the orange mouse and the green mouse and had an idea. She thought, what if I jump into the red can of paint? What will happen if the blue mouse jumps into the red can of paint? What do you think? Let's find out. Oh, let's see. The blue mouse turned purple. Blue mixed with red makes purple. Now the mice weren't white anymore, and they weren't the primary colors anymore. Now they are orange and green and purple. Those are the secondary colors. What happens when you mix the primary colors together? The mice said, this is a wonderful discovery, and they squeaked with glee. Let's go tell the world. What happens when you mix the primary colors together and make secondary colors? Aren't they so cute, those little mice? First they were white, and then they were the primary colors, and then they mixed the colors together and turned into the secondary colors. How exciting. Well, we're going to talk all about colors today. But first, I'm going to read you a story about a girl who visits an art museum. Have you ever visited an art museum? An art museum is usually a really big building, and on the walls there are lots of pieces of art. You can go and look at them and think about how they make you feel. And this girl feels lots of different ways when she sees the art at the museum. This book is called The Museum, story by Susan Verde, and the art is by Peter H. Reynolds. One of the things that I like about this book is, sometimes books have a book jacket on them so that it protects the book. And usually the picture on the book jacket is the same as the book itself, but this book is different. So look at the picture of the cover and look at the picture of the back cover. Do you see her looking at the picture of the ballerina painting? And then watch what happens when I take the book jacket off of this book. This is the cover. She's running under the moon and the stars. And this is the back cover. She's making a funny face. What does this artwork look like to you? It looks like a Picasso funny face, doesn't it? And she's making a funny face to go with it. Let's read to find out what happens at the museum. Ooh, there's lots of artwork. Do you see this one with the lines? Does that look like a Mondrian maybe? The museum. There's the title page. When I see a work of art, something happens in my heart. I cannot stifle my reaction. My body just goes into action. This one makes me want to pose and stand up on my tippy toes. Now I'm all twirly whirly, twinkly, sparkly, super swirly. Look here. See her moving around at the different art? Phew! Exhausted. I take a breath. I cannot wait to see what's next. I think I'll analyze the who's and what's and where's and why's. This art is a sculpture. It's not a painting on the wall. It's like a statue. I'm starting to feel so sad and blue, heavy, lonely, through and through. I think I need something to eat. Those apples would be such a treat. I'm skipping through a field of flowers. I could keep this up for hours. Fragrant, soft, and so delightful. Suddenly, it's so frightful. This painting is called The Scream. You see it? I make silly faces at a guy. He did it first. I do not lie. I'm giddy from all these lines and squiggles. I collapse in a fit of giggles. Wait, what is this I see? An empty canvas stares at me. Where is the color? What does it mean? It's the strangest art I've ever seen. Is this a joke? I shut my eyes and something happens to my surprise. I start to see things in my head, yellow, blue, then green and red. Circles, lines, all kinds of shapes, faces, flowers, and landscapes. I open my eyes and look once more at the canvas that I saw before. It's time to fill, it's mine to fill the way I choose. A purple dot, a pair of shoes, zigzag lines, the deep blue sea, a portrait of my mom and me. No longer blank, it's my creation. I am feeling such elation. What a glorious time I've had. I've been scared, silly, mad, and glad. I'm energized from head to toe, even when it's time to go. The museum's closed for the night, but I know it's all right. Its rhythm exists in all I see. The museum lives inside of me. And there she goes, under the moon and the stars. And there's more blank canvases. Today, I have an art idea for you to do with your own blank canvas. So you can do this art on paper, that would be fine, or you could do this art on a canvas. And a canvas is a special kind of paper. Sometimes it's on wood like this and stapled. It's like a piece of cloth. And that's what museums hang up on the wall. If you don't have a canvas, it is okay to just do this art on paper. That will be completely fine. Let me take Mondrian's art down here and slide it over to the side so we can keep looking at it while we create our art. Is that going to stay up there? There we go. I think that's going to work. So we can look at our Mondrian painting and we can make our own Mondrian artwork. I'm going to use a canvas, but like I said, you can use paper or anything that you have at home will work perfectly fine for this art project. Now we noticed on Mondrian's art that there are some vertical lines, straight lines, and some horizontal lines. You can make lines on your canvas with a marker. Maybe your grown-up could help you draw really straight lines. Or you could do what I'm going to do, which is to use a little bit of electrical tape. So I have some black tape. Do you see that? And I'm going to make my lines go straight all the way down on the canvas. And I'll push it down like this. Do you see how I made the straight lines on my canvas? And I might use some scissors to cut off the back. There we go. Do you see that straight line right down on the canvas? Should I do another straight line? Should I do it far away or close? How about close? Oop. There we go. And push it down. That looks really good. Look, it looks almost the same as Mondrian's art, doesn't it? It's fun to make art that looks like other famous artists. And it's also fun to make art that looks like it's 100% your own. When you're the artist, you get to decide what your art will look like. I'm going to make one more vertical line. Can you say vertical line? Yes. Let me do this. Come on, tape. There we go. And I'm going to make a few that go horizontal. Maybe I'll do 2 horizontal. What do you think? Since I'm the artist, I get to decide on this one. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 vertical lines. Show me your vertical line. Up and down with your hand. Good. And I'm going to make 2 horizontal lines. Show me horizontal with your hands. Yes, the horizontal goes from side to side. Horizontal lines. Come on, tape. Okay. So I think I will make one go. Should we go up top like this? That looks good. And you've got to push it down so it will stick. And cut it off. And then I'll do one more, maybe down below with my black tape. Okay, let's do that. Now, good. Oh, this is going to be a great piece of Mondrian art. Okay, now that we have all of our lines on the canvas, we can use markers or crayons or paint. You're the artist, so you get to decide. And for this one, I'm going to use the primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. You can decide which colors you're going to use for your art, but I chose the primary colors. And these are called paint sticks, and they're kind of like paint, but they dry really fast. And you use them like a glue stick. Do you see that? And so I'm going to start with blue. Which square should I paint blue? Which one do you think? Maybe this tall one down here at the bottom? Okay, let's do it. I'm going to paint this one blue. Well done. Should I do one more blue? Do you like the color blue as much as I do? Okay. Which other one should I do blue? This one right in the middle? Okay, we can do it. Ready? I'm just going to make my paint go all over and fill up that whole rectangle that's all blue. What other colors should we use? Should I try some that are yellow? Mondrian has yellow up in the corner. Should I make a corner yellow? A big one? Okay, let's see what it looks like. I've got my yellow paint stick, but you can use a marker or a crayon or a paintbrush. You can decide what you'd like to use. Look at that. It's a big yellow corner, isn't it? Do you know when Mondrian was creating his art, he hung red and blue and yellow squares on the wall of his art studio. And every time he sat down to make art, he would move them all around. So his art studio always looked different. Every time he created art, the walls in his art studio looked different. He just moved the squares all around. And now I'm finally going to do one red. I think I'll choose it right over here. And maybe one more. I'm going to make sure it covers it all up, all the way. That will work. Should I do one more red one? Should I do it here or here? What do you think? Where should we do the red? Maybe I'll do some on the edge too, huh? So it's all covered up. Do you want to do this top one? Okay, we can do it up on the top. When you're the artist, you get to decide where you'd like to color, which squares you'd like to color. And then when it's all finished, let me see if I can color it all in so that none of the white is showing. Let's see. Aha. And when it's all finished, I could sign my name to it. Maybe when it's dry, I'll write Miss Jamie at the bottom and hang it up on the wall. You could start your own museum gallery, just like the museum gallery that we read about in today's book. If you make a Mondrian artwork like this or like your own idea at home, would you take a picture? I would love to see what you're working on. It makes me so happy to know how creative and smart and hardworking you are. Today was a fun day learning all about Mondrian. There he is again, Piet Mondrian. But now it's already time for us to call Betsy back and say goodbye. Can you help me call her? 1, 2, 3, say, Betsy, come back. Hello, friends. Betsy, did you like learning about Piet Mondrian? Yes, Mondrian made lots of lines and colors. Very well. Should we sing goodbye to our friends today? Preschool time is over now, over now, over now. Preschool time is over now for another day. Wave goodbye to all of our friends, all of our friends, all of our friends. Wave goodbye to all of our friends. It's time to stay home and play. Hip, hip, hooray! Betsy, are you hungry for some bird seed? Friends, do you have any bird seed in your pocket? Okay, reach down and get a big handful. This is what your play pack looks like today. It has some ideas for things you can do after the video's over to learn and be more creative. Birdseed time, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for the bird seed. If you'd like one of Betsy's special kisses, hold your hand out like this. Catch it. Stick it to your cheek. Give yourself a big hug from Miss Jamie and Betsy. We think you're so creative. We can't wait to see what art you make. Bye-bye, friends.